Hey, so in this video, I really want to be sharing why content alone isn't going to give you consistent leads, especially on LinkedIn, right? Now, content has many uses, right? I think content's really good to be able to build credibility and to be able to actually show the proof of what you can do, and it can get inbound leads. However, I think there's about three problems, at least with this, that make it quite unreliable. So, the first thing is that not everyone is going to necessarily feel ready to reach out, right? You're going to have people that even if they can see that perhaps you're someone that could actually benefit them, they might not be in that position to reach out. Now, whether that's something perhaps just a personal thing where maybe they're a bit uncomfortable, but unsure, perhaps they want to be 100% certain that they want to reach out to you, right? It can be like a few things, but the thing is that as good as inbound leads are, at the same time they're still having to start that conversation, and so that can be a bit of a like an uncomfortable and a difficult thing for some people to do. The second thing here is that your content won't always perform the way you want it to. So this isn't necessarily like, oh, it gets loads of engagement, but for example, it might not get in front of those ideal client that you want to get in front of. Other times it will, and that's great. But a lot of the time, it might not actually end up doing that. So, if that's going to be the case, then it can be difficult for the consistency of those leads to come through. If perhaps sometimes your content is shown to the right people, and other times it's not. And really, the last thing is that people are busy, right? I mean, this is the whole thing with the whole idea of the money's made in the follow up, right? If we're talking about outreach, for example, then like this is a really key thing. But especially with content and getting inbound from content, people are really busy, right? Chances are, they've got a lot of things going on, and you're not the most important thing, surprisingly. And that said, you and I both, have our own things going on as well. So it's understanding this and going, well, if they're really busy, chances are I'm not on the priority list like for actually, them to reach out to me. And I think these three sort of things here are all very valid. Now, what I genuinely think the best thing to actually be able to do with this is outreach. Now, I appreciate I need to turn down that. But it's basically outreach, right? This is arguably the most important thing that I think you can be doing to actually get more consistency of leads. Now, I'm not just talking about any outreach because I'm sure you've been sort of like pitched up, pitched plenty of times before and such. Hang on, let me just find the pen. There we are. I'm sure you've been pitched plenty of times before, but actually, what I'm really talking about is more bloody hell, warm outreach, right? Being able to do warm outreach, being able to take the people that are familiar to you, right? So, this being, say, people that are your new connections, could even be people that are profile viewers, or could even be people that have engaged with you, right? Be able to take each of these individual people and being able to effectively send them a message, start that conversation. Now, the reason I do this is simply because these people that are effectively my warmer leads are going to be at least 1% warmer than the rest of the people on LinkedIn, meaning that it's much easier for me to basically go and sort of reach out to someone like that, right? So that's really the first thing with that as well. Now, a lot of the times, people might feel a bit unsure about outreach, and they think, well, the thing is that if you don't make that first move, if you don't reach out to them, that's obviously like it's never going to happen. And the thing is, like especially with new connections, right? If I send connection requests to idle clients and they accept, a lot of the time, like there seems to be this thing going around that well, when they accept, you need to give them some time, right? You need to warm them up. You need to give them some time, like a week or perhaps even a month, or like to warm them up to make sure they see enough of your content. But the thing is that I actually feel like the moment they accept this connection request is the actual best time to send that first message. Now, sure, not everyone that accepts the connection request are going to accept it because they need your help, right? Some people just simply accept it for the sake of it, right? But if they do accept it, right? Like for me, if someone accepts my connection request that I send, I am going to take the assumption, I'm going to take the full assumption that actually they are someone that, could potentially benefit from my help, right? Because the thing is, they've seen my profile, right? When I've sent that connection request, they've gone ahead and they've been able to see my profile. They see a bit more about what I do, and like in terms of who I help and such. And so I'm going to make the natural first step of initiating that conversation, right? And obviously, in the first message that I do send, it's not going to be a pitch. I'm going to focus on being able to personalize the message as the first thing, but also be able to actually make sure I ask a qualifying question, right? And this is going to make it very easy for me to quickly identify, okay, do they have a problem that I can solve? Right? Because if they ever because if they open up about a problem that I can help solve for them, then that when I'm gonna then propose a call to chat further with them. And this doesn't have to take a lot of your energy as well, right? Because I know a lot of people, they just want to stick to doing content and they just want to get inbound leads from content. Why? Because it sounds easy and it is easy. But if it was that easy, it would work for everyone and everyone would get loads of leads. But it's not that easy because inbound leads and tons of leads don't come consistently from content unless you're a really massive creator that's really well established. But even then, it's still going to be a bit difficult, which is why outreach is your best bet, and at least warm outreach anyway. So the process I usually go for to do this is pretty simple. Warm outreach, this is done on a regular basis. So for me, this is usually done Monday to Friday, sometimes Monday to like Monday to Saturday, right? Where basically I will send 20 to 30 connection requests through a Sales Navigator list, which I will make. Reason why we use LinkedIn Sales Navigator is simply because this helps us create a very specific list of our ideal client, and it basically means that these people are going to be far more likely to be qualified. The second thing is that once I've sent all of those connection requests, I'm then going to look at all of my warm leads. So, just like here, I'm going to look at the people that have recently accepted my connection request, people that have recently viewed my profile, and people that have recently engaged my content. And from there, I'm then going to be able to actually send them all a first message, right? And really, like I said before, it's going to focus on being able to personalize the message. And by personalize the message, I don't just mean giving them a compliment, but I mean you want to actually make the message feel like it could only be like sent to this individual, right? Like it only be sent to them, because that way they can actually feel like you've taken the time to put some effort in. And then once we've done that, it's then having a qualifying question, which we'll also add on the end of that. Now, for this, we want to get very specific to the point in terms of trying to figure out, are they someone that has a problem? We're not trying to pitch here. For me, for example, I might ask how someone's like LinkedIn lead generation is going on, right? Which is obviously a very specific thing to ask. And you know what? Like sometimes some people I'll send this to find this, a bit much and that I haven't built enough rapport yet. However, a lot of the times, most people, practically all people I message, know why I'm there. Right. So there's no point me trying to build some fake rapport if I'm gonna send this anyway. So I send this on the first message and I ask, okay, like, well, also I'll give the compliment, but I ask, how the LinkedIn lead gen coming along, right? Are you doing well? And yeah, I'll have people that will either maybe ghost me, perhaps just brush it off, but I'll also have people that will tell me, actually, it's not as consistent as I want it to be, or it could be better, or it's okay, or if this and that. I've even had a few people that said it's non-existent. And I look at the LinkedIn profile, I'm like, well, it looks like you're doing pretty well, but if it's non-existent, that's a huge problem. And they'd only open up to this about me if I asked a specific question in the first place. So, really, especially when you're actually starting the conversation, you need to actually identify, you know, like, are you actually willing to ask these more specific questions to get these responses? Now, I understand your niche might not be the same or even similar to mine in any way, shape, or form, but you need to be able to find a qualifying question, even if it's somewhere around their goals, right? I find for a lot of niches, if you can ask a question in relation to a certain goal, right, whether that be a business goal, a health goal, or something like that, if they see your profile and they see what you do, they're going to be more likely to open up. Now, for me, I just usually go for LinkedIn lead generation. But for a lot of niches, if you can ask around a certain goal in relation to your niche, so if you're in the health niche, some sort of health goal or whatever, add the first question, that's usually a good place to start. But really, all I've wanted to do is just really be able to show that, like, content. as good as it is, right? Because I mean, I post content effectively every single day, and obviously I post content here on YouTube as well. Like as useful as content is for me, like I don't get a crazy amount of inbound leads, and if I do get inbound leads, they're very inconsistent. And that's not even a bad thing because a lot of the leads I do get, or at least a lot of the calls and the sales calls that I do book is majority through outreach. However, a good amount of the people that I book in with, or at least chat with, have said that they've seen, that video that I made. They've seen that piece of content that I've made, and so like that's also a benefit, right? The content is helping me, but it's not the literal thing that gets me the leads, right? It can aid in getting me the leads, but it's not getting me the leads itself. So overall, really what I wanted to share is that if you can add outreach to what you're doing, right? Warm outreach, we're not trying to, cold pitch, we're not trying to send 50 messages a day. We're just taking the people that are familiar with us, taking those warm leads. We'll be able to send that first message and really just try and identify if they actually have a problem we can solve so that we can then propose a call and chat further. But hopefully you found this video useful. And if you're looking to outsource your LinkedIn lead generation, then you can you can visit my website to learn a bit more.